I wonder if I made the heavens, would I give second chances, God, the way that you do? I wonder if I could open oceans, would I even notice the ones who need a way through? Whatever I would do, you do it better, better, better. God, if I were you, it would have taken me forever to put the pieces of me back together. I would have said that everything I've been through made me too far gone. I would have seen my every imperfection, and I'd have run the opposite direction. God, if I were you, I'd leave me back where I was. Thank God you're God and I'm not. You've shown me you won't run out of patience. You don't get tired of waiting when I would give up too soon. And I'm so grateful you don't label me by my flaws, and I've never been a lost cause. God, if I were you, it would have taken me forever to put the pieces of me back together. I would have said that everything I've been through made me too far gone. I would have seen my every imperfection, and I'd have run the opposite direction. God, if I were you, I'd leave me back where I was. Thank God you're God and I'm not. Thank God you're God and I'm not. Oh, thank God you're God and I'm not. 'Cause whatever I would do, you do it better, better, better. God, if I were you, it would have taken me forever to put the pieces of me back together. I would have said that everything I've been through made me too far gone. I would have seen my every imperfection, and I'd have run the opposite direction. God, if I were you, I'd leave me back where I was. Thank God you're God and I'm not. Thank God you're God and I'm not. Oh, thank God you're God and I'm not.
Please do not judge me, just pray for me. Just pray for me. Looking back on my life, God done changed. He done changed. Take a look at my past, how you gon' blame? How you gon' blame me? Take a look at my past, how you gon' wait. Can't even look back, gotta keep my face forward. Mama crying to the Lord, she the one praying for it. Looking back on my life, God done changed. He done changed me. Looking back on my life, boy, you can't judge me. I've been washed up in the blood. I done seen some things that people tried to sweep under the rug. Tried to come and steal my blessings, but they had to bring them back. They done took away my brother, cause he had to move them back. It's okay, I ain't told, I ain't snitch, I ain't fold. I just switched up the mode, got it cracking in my area. Cold, back on Richard Road, where the streets was hot, that boy was cold. I was throwing out his name back when they was throwing bows. Mama prayed so much, cause she wanna keep me up from that corner store. Wasn't raised with a silver spoon, but God came down and fed my soul. That's why when the hate coming my way, I just gotta let it go. That's why when I hear them telling they lies, just gotta let them know. Please do not judge me, just pray for me. Just pray for me. Looking back on my life, God done changed. He done changed. Take a look at my past, how you gon' blame? How you gon' blame me? Take a look at my past, how you gon' wait. Can't even look back, gotta keep my face forward. Mama crying to the Lord, she the one praying for it. Looking back on my life, God done changed. He done changed me. Looking back on my life, boy, you can't.
How you judging me and not praying? I know people that be talking crazy every chance that they can. So I just talk to God, he whispered in my ear, stick to the plan. Cause I got people on them blocks, I'm tryna help get off them Zans. Came from the D, tryna make the league. They was shooting dice, I was shooting threes. I told them wait for me, started doing things I shouldn't be. Living make-believe, tryna be in streets faithfully. Then God had snatched me out, cause my mama really prayed for me. I changed and said I'm killing demons, dog, they said that's blasphemy. Same people saying Bible blicky, same ones that laughed at me. Nah, I could talk the talk and walk the walk, that's how I'm living. I'm the voice for the trenches in the church, that's why I'm different. Demi Killer Gang, we in this time.
Please do not judge me, just pray for me.
Just pray for me.
Looking back on my life, God done changed.
He done changed.
Take a look at my past, how you gon' blame?
How you gon' blame me?
Take a look at my past, how you gon'
Wait.
Can't even look back, gotta keep my face forward. Mama crying to the Lord, she the one praying for it. Looking back on my life, God done changed.
He done changed me.
Looking back on my life, boy, you can't.
When the lights start to dim because the sun starts to fade and you think you fighting for freedom, but really you a slave, entrapped in your mind, your dreams turn into graves. You question if God listens, are you really even saved? Intrusive thoughts get loud and all your fears get proud. Giving up wasn't an option, but now you feel it's allowed. Imposter pop up, syndrome got you bit wrong. Even if the thought was righteous, your mind feel like you've been gone. Am I gonna quit? Is this worth it? Yeah, I thought about it, had to reassess what I love. I would be lost without it. Then I look back on my dirt, I had been bought about it, found an address to hell. Then I fought about it. Now let's get it. I'm giving it all I got. Uncle taught me DOA whenever I take a shot. Just know the job is done whenever I hit the spot. So family view the only time I'm ever spinning the block. Ain't trying to be a replica, God bless my design. It's a one-on-one, got my own standards to define. Seeking peace all I can, cause rages of demise will touch my fam. You gon' see Kurt Franklin turning the plies. Trying to smooth every bump in my road, I've been proactive. But the devil making deals and really they look attractive. But I remember the cost of all that's paid on the cross. Only signing 360s if God is the only boss. Found a purpose, so all I gotta get study the blood like a phlebotomist. And still got over all if every dollar spent. The devil settle in your mind like a colonist, but a test leads to a testimony and you conquered it. Going through a lot, but I know who I am. Been fighting for a long time, I know who I am. The devil tried to play me, but I know who I am. But God still saved me and I know who I am. I know who I am. Know who I am. Know who I am.
Where the light at, remind me. If you looking for it, you know where to find me. You ain't paying for me, so you can't decline me. Can't go till the devil get behind me. Pray, throw it up, can't throw enough. Break bread with my people, we gon' pour it up. If your price too high, you ain't been lowing up. If you ain't had a ooh wee, then you can't run with us. What's the word? Look alive, what's the business? Ooh wee. Can't believe God did it. Ooh wee. Lord forgive me, I was tripping. Ooh wee. Can't believe God did it. Ooh wee.
Let me hear you if you still feel the vibe.
Ooh wee.
Let me hear you when God did his job.
Ooh wee.
Let me hear you when God on your side.
Ooh wee. I was ooh wee. My respect for the feminine, it was minimal. God gave me another heart, it was clinical. If you sick, invite him in, he the mineral. Then he gave the family dollars, he the general. Pull up, jump out, show love, and get back in. Moving his wheel forward like I ain't got it back in. They told me think about myself and get that dough. Shh, don't put your foot in your mouth, that's tic-tac-toe. Fishing for souls on the gram, I throw the real out. Try to get rid of God and you gon' take the real out. How you put in so much work and leave the skill out? Demon got you in a sunken place, tell him get out. Looking at my sin like when the waiters bring the bill out. Can't tap dance around the truth cause it's a slow dance. Trying to get the point in your head, it ain't a so end. We let go and let God, but when we pray we hold hands. You hear me? Look alive, what's the business? Ooh wee. Can't believe God did it. Ooh wee. Lord forgive me, I was tripping. Ooh wee. Can't believe God did it. Ooh wee.
Let me hear you if you still feel the vibe.
Ooh wee.
Let me hear you when God did his job.
Ooh wee.
Let me hear you when God on your side.
Ooh wee. I was ooh wee.
I've been thinking about the times I was tripping outside. Could've lost my mind, but you kept me. I just wanna say that I'ma stand on 10. Work hard, asking for mercy for the things I did. And I've been thinking about the climb to the top. How it really don't matter who gon' take my spot for real. And I just wanna say that I'ma give your props. Cause when it all fade away, you really all that I got for real.
Look alive, what's the business? Ooh wee. Can't believe God did it. Ooh wee. Lord forgive me, I was tripping. Ooh wee. Can't believe God did it. Ooh wee.
Let me hear you if you still feel alive. Let me hear you when God did his job. Let me hear you when God on your side.
I was ooh wee.
Hey y'all, Arson Darksea here. I'm sorry if I sound a little weird. I just did a very long recording I'm going to play for you in a moment. I just want to ask you to please pray for me. I'm going to be moving in just a few days. I have to move out by the end of the month. And I'm trying not to stress out. So far, I'm doing very well. It's a very hard time for me financially, and I don't know how I'm going to afford this move because I'm about $200 short for the move, but I'm trying not to worry. I'm trying to keep some money to the side for the Pride preaching event, and I'm not going to touch that money that goes towards all the stuff I need to be preaching to the LGBS community, and I don't want there to be a chance that I'm going to lose that money. So, I would really appreciate it if you guys could pray for me or even consider to donate. I would truly appreciate that. All the links are in the description. Please make sure that you're subscribed to all of our channels. We have 6 channels on NaziTube total. All the channels are linked in the description. Please also make sure that you are a member, even if you have a free account or a paid account on our locals page. Our locals website has free and paid videos, exclusive and early videos. And if anything did happen, if let's say one day, maybe even tomorrow, all of these channels disappeared off NaziTube, well, I could still send you an email through locals and I could let you know where I'm at now or what new channels we have. I could let you know all kinds of important information. I'm going to be doing a lot of copywritten stuff, stuff that's going to be blocked. I'm working on this reaction video where I'm reacting to this movie, and you're going to see my face. You're going to see my body, okay? And I look very good. I'm wearing a very nice dress, by the way. I'm just saying. And it's going to be probably over an hour long. I'm reacting to a nearly 2-hour-long movie. And unfortunately, when I tried to upload part 1 onto NaziTube, it was blocked in America. So if you live in America, like most of my viewers, you probably will not be able to see it. Well, you definitely would not be able to see it without a VPN or something. But if you had a free members account on Locals or a paid members account on Locals, you would be able to see that video. You will be able to see all kinds of things that will not be allowed on NaziTube or that I would have to heavily edit and cut down. Like the original video may be an hour long on Locals, but then it may be only like 5 minutes long on NaziTube because I gotta chop it down in order for it to make it through, So I hope that makes sense. So please join our Locals, again, that's in the description, as well as my new Odyssey channel for Arson Darksea. All links are below this video in the description. Thank you so much. Here is my recording. God bless. I tell you what, man. Whoa, 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 whoa. This guy's got me over here singing my Negro spirituals. I was praising the Lord in the fields. I was praising him in the fields. People would be like, you racist. Hey, man. I got the nappiest hair anybody's ever seen. And I get brown as you can get in the sun, so kiss my grass. Anyway. God bless this dude. I've made videos talking about this, but I don't expect people to scroll through endless videos to try and find it. I do suggest watching this video I made about a month ago on the channel Arson Darksea about my testimony. And it's like some of the events leading up to where I'm getting to, and that'll kind of give you a better idea as to how all this came to be in the first place. Let me try to plug in my good microphone to say everything I want to say. This man says, "That's amazing. Praise God. I just saw your testimony on Ray Comfort's recent video. I wonder about this considering you mentioned that Jesus removed your transgenderism. Did you all of a sudden start to feel comfortable in your body as a woman? And as for the bisexuality, do you no longer have any attraction toward women? Was that gradual or instant? I pray the same happens to more in the LGBS community. The enemy really has them deeply lost because they feel it's their actual identity, but Jesus can do anything and everything. Amen." Thank you so very much for your questions, brother. I really appreciate it. And again, even though I've already answered this in some videos, I'll try to answer it again and try to give more detail than I might have in the past. I don't know, but forgive me if I kind of ramble on. I want to be thorough. In fact, I'm probably going to answer all of your questions while I'm ranting along, so just bear with me. Because I understand a lot of people Most people don't go through this. They don't know what it's like. And I totally understand having a lot of questions. So feel free, anyone who's listening, feel free to ask me any questions. A lot of people feel like, they feel bad to ask me certain things. And, you can ask me anything, no matter how private it may seem or graphic or whatever. I'll answer it. I'm an open book. Or at least I try to be for the most part, Sometimes I say a little too much and people start grabbing their pearls and gasping. They're like, oh, how dare you? I'm like, I'm sorry. Anyway, your first question was, did you all of a sudden start to feel comfortable in your body as a woman? Yes, it was incredible. It really was. I don't really know how to explain it. I mean, Satan is the master of confusion, so I did have some moments where I felt kind of girly and did girly things, but overall, I was just uncomfortable in my body. I was uncomfortable in my body. I was confused. There were times, especially after I dealt with a lot of abuse, a lot of trauma, where I just didn't know who I was, and it really devastated me. I was like, I would just cry, and I'd say, if anyone asks me right now who I am, I can't even tell them. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. I don't even know if I'm human, Like I've said before, everyone has been through trauma-based mind control. We all are going through MK Ultra mind control right now. And we definitely have in the past before we were more awake. And Satan has used that to strip a lot of us of our identity. A lot of us get stripped of our identity in different ways. Some of us are transgender. Some of us are bisexual. Some of us are alcoholics, shopaholics, sexaholics, addicted to football or Harry Potter, whatever, People can get consumed into one thing, and that one or two or three things can be their whole identity, and they don't really know who they are anymore. They don't know what their purpose is anymore. And I believe that I was demonically possessed with a lot of demons that may have been male spirits or have been in male bodies enough to know what it's like, because I got along with men and I understood men. It's really weird. It's like I have lived 2 different lives, This is probably the closest a person can get to reincarnation, It's really freaky because I don't feel at all the way I used to feel. I used to think so much more like a man. Of course, I was not ever a man completely, but I would say like 90% I was thinking like a man. I was acting more and more like a man as time went on. I had more guy friends than anything. I didn't understand women. I thought women were ridiculous. I put women down quite a bit. Mostly like jokingly, but I just did not understand women. For the most part, I thought they were kind of crazy, overly talkative, all the stereotypes that there are about women, basically. And I got along so much better with men. Always had tons of guy friends. And it's so funny now when I get to know guys, whether they're trying to pursue me romantically or we're just friends or whatever. It's so funny hearing the complaints that men have about women or just certain things that men say. And it's like, wow, if you just knew how much I understood you. And I was saying the same things back when I thought I was transgender and all of that. Guys don't really, I don't think they believe that when I try to tell them, like, dude, you don't even understand. I was saying the exact same stuff you said, but then God let me see a whole different dimension. Now I'm looking at life a whole different level, and they just don't want to really believe me when I try to tell them, hey, I get the way you're thinking, but your thinking is flawed. Like I'll hear a lot of Christian brothers out there putting women down and saying stuff I used to say because they don't understand women. They don't understand the way we are wired. They don't understand the way that we think. And so because they don't understand, they dislike or even hate what they don't understand. And they don't see that Satan is really working through them at the core to cause division, to cause all kinds of problems. And so I'll try to tell guys like, hey, you may hear a woman, like, and I'm not just talking about any random woman on the street. I'm talking in context of Christians, okay? Christian men, Christian women. When you hear a Christian woman who should have a good head on her shoulders and everything, when she's talking about something that to you sounds silly, she's just talking on a different level. She's thinking on a different level than you are able to think as a man because she is a woman. Just like men will say things that sound silly to us as women, But we have to have that agape, Christ-like love to hear each other out, to try to come and understand one another and be like, hey, that Christian brother, I know he's brilliant. And what he's saying right now sounds kind of wacky, but you know what? Let me try to understand him. Maybe I should pause and ask him some questions. Maybe that will help me understand instead of me just pointing fingers and saying, oh, you're nuts, you're this, you're that. Because that is the devil. He is what? The accuser. So don't accuse one another saying men are this way, women are this way. Try to come and unite and understand one another. Be patient. Ask questions. I've noticed that Satan has made it to a point where asking questions is wrong. Asking questions causes fights now. I've had so many times, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but trust me, I'll get to it. So many times I'll be talking to people, and just because I happen to ask them more than 2 questions in a row, they end up saying, we just had a fight. And I'll look at them, I'm like, we had a fight? When did we have a fight? You mean just now? And they're like, yeah, you're fighting with me? We're arguing? And I'm like, what? Because I asked you 2 or 3 questions, you know? People get really bent out of shape when you just ask honest questions. I don't know, I guess Satan has done that so we can't get anywhere, obviously, and it's frustrating. So let's try to recognize his tactics and always come against them. Be patient and ask questions just like this amazing brother did. Thank you. And in regard to this brother's questions, which I am answering, I'm getting along to it, but I also want to talk about some other things that are important as well. I do highly suggest that you watch these 2 videos first. Maybe the first video being where I call into the radio show and I talk to Mary and Daniel Rusk from the Abolitionists of Alabama and Walk About Jesus Radio. About, I think it's like 50 minutes into that video is where I call in and I share my testimony and I talk about how I became transgender and certain other things, and you get to know exactly how transgender I really was, because a lot of people accuse me of not actually being transgender or whatever. And then the second video being the one I've just posted on Arson Darksea, where I talk about how the transgenderism left. Because it's not like as soon as I heard about Jesus Christ or I reached out to him, then all of a sudden everything was taken away. There was a period of time, although the period of time was very short compared to what a lot of people go through where they're crying out to God for years and years. There was a period of time where I did believe in Jesus Christ and I did call myself a Christian and I thought I had faith. But then I didn't know how little faith I had until I reached the next level of faith. And God grew my faith enough to the point where it let in the Holy Spirit enough and these demons were taken away from me. I think a big issue so many Christians have, a lot of people in the LGBTQ community have, for example, is that they don't have as much faith and as little pride as they believe that they do. The first issue that you tend to make is labeling yourself after these illusions these demons are trying to sell you. If a demon keeps saying in your head and keeps giving you these thoughts and these feelings that you're bisexual, you're bisexual, you're bisexual, that's bad enough as it is. That's one battle to fight. But then when you go as far as saying with your mouth out loud, I am bisexual, then you have opened up a whole new can of worms. A big issue a lot of Christians have is not realizing just how powerful our mouth is. Life and death is in the tongue. We have so much power in our words. And when you come into agreement verbally with something, that is a big deal. When you want to label yourself as a Christian, and then you want to also label yourself as bisexual, for example, you have so much more pride than you are willing to admit right there. You are putting yourself above God. You are saying you know better than God. God's telling you the opposite, and you are coming completely against that by labeling yourself that. There is so much more hidden in just those words, in just that labeling, in deciding to label yourself certain things, deciding to wear certain clothing and do certain things. So anyway, I went through a time where I was a Christian, but I also was still feeling bisexual, still feeling transgender, still feeling bulimic, anorexic, depressed, suicidal, and so many other things. It wasn't until I diminished my pride enough to do something that seemed so insane, that seemed so pointless, so ridiculous, as doing that prayer that I did and doing that thing that I mentioned in that video. And having the faith enough to believe that God is going to move and watching him move. So yes, I went through a period of time where I was a Christian and I was still having those struggles. It may have only been a few weeks, it may have been a couple months, I don't remember exactly. This was probably at the end of 2020 or around that time. Then my faith grew and God immediately took all of that away, all of what was possessing me. But I think it took me about 2 weeks to realize it. You know, so much was lifted off me, so much that I was used to. I was used to just being that way that I didn't even realize God had lifted me off. It's kind of like, you know how if you keep an elephant tied to a pole or something their whole life, that eventually you can remove the rope or the chain that's tying them and they're still going to stay there because they're so used to staying there that they don't even realize that you've taken away what was binding them. It's like I was just so used to being bound by these demons, I didn't even realize they were gone for about 2 weeks. And then I remember walking into my room and stopping in my tracks and being like, wait a minute. It's been about this long, about 2 weeks or so, since I had inappropriate feelings toward a woman. And I've had inappropriate thoughts. It's been about this long since I've had any suicidal attempts or thoughts or feelings. It's been about this long since I've had the urge to stick my fingers down my throat, or that I've seen myself as something I'm not, or, wanting to starve myself and thinking that I don't have the right to eat and thinking I'm worthless and blah, blah, blah. It's been this long since I have envisioned being a man or wanted to be a man or felt like a man. In fact, I feel great. I feel like a woman for the first time in my life. And it all kind of hit me at one moment. And I just had this big realization. And then the spirit of doubt and unbelief came in so fast. And it was like, no, no way. That's probably not it. It's all going to come back. You're probably just, crazy and overthinking it, blah, blah, blah. All the things that people tell me all the time in comment sections, trying to make me not believe. But it actually happened, and what I went through was so biblical, and I'll tell you and explain it right here, right now, because I've even had Christians coming up to me telling me that my testimony is not biblical, which is a shame. I've heard Christians tell other Christians, oftentimes it's Christians who have big followings on NaziTube, telling a whole crowd of people that, oh, well, it's a process, and, God's going to take, they'll say God doesn't take your transgenderism or your gayness or your bisexuality or whatever. He doesn't take that away instantly. It's a slow process. Or they'll say, well, you just got to live like this. You're always going to be gay, you're always going to be trans, you're always going to be bi, but you just have to deny yourself forever and you're just never going to be happy. Is basically what they tell. And it's like, no, I just want to scream from the rooftops. No. He can take it away instantly. The God who made everything you're seeing, feeling, tasting, smelling right now, you're telling me that he can't take that away that fast or faster? You kidding me? Where is your faith, ye of little faith? That's what I want to tell these people. Oh, ye of little faith? Are you kidding? I mean, that's their big issue right there. No wonder you're having such an issue with God taking all this stuff away. Listen to how you're talking. You can always catch it. At least God points it out to me. He'll pinpoint to me certain places in people's paragraphs, if they're writing it, or if they're saying it, certain places in their sentence, where the truth is coming through right then and there, and they don't even see it. They'll say, I've been praying for 25 years for God to take A, B, and C from me, and he hasn't, and he never will, and I guess you just think you're special, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow, you really sound like you're full of faith. God must be real eager to help you out. Like, yes, God is eager to help you, but I'm just saying, like, what do you expect? Why would God take that away from you when you've got this attitude? That is probably a big reason why it's not taken away from you. Notice the people who were healed in the Bible were humble people. Notice that when there were times in the Bible, at least one time I can think of, like when God said, that basically called that woman a dog, and she was talking about, how she wanted some scraps or something like that. I can't remember word for word, but you know what I'm talking about. When people showed their humility to Jesus Christ, they were blessed in their humility. You can't come to God all cocky, trying to put his crown on your head and expect him to bless you. Are you kidding? You can't be trying to push Jesus off the throne and then be like, oh yeah, give me some blessings while you're at it. Like, no, that's not how this works. You go to the throne and you bow down. You wash his feet, you kiss the ring, all of that. You know what I mean? Come with that humility, throw your pride in the trash where it belongs, and believe God can do anything and then some, a whole lot more. He can do everything. Okay? So God took that from me instantly, but it took me a while to catch up mentally and realize what was going on. And then I felt so sensitive. I've talked about this before, where for the first time I was 100% feeling like a woman, 100% having the female experience, because, like I've told people before, I have a terrible disease that I would not wish on anyone, and that disease is PCOS, otherwise known as polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so not only was I demonically possessed, mentally going through the male experience for the most part, but I was physically going through the male experience, and I believe even physically possessed going through the male experience, if you know what I mean. I'm saying that demonic possession was not just affecting my, how spiritually blind I might have been, and it's affecting what's going on mentally, basically, but it was affecting me physically to the point where I would not have a menstrual cycle, okay? I think I went at least one time where I went a whole year, 365 days, with not one period, not one menstrual cycle, no bleeding, okay? Or at least not a proper menstrual cycle. I might have spotted, I don't remember. Because of polycystic ovarian syndrome, I was put on birth control to try to help my hormones. I mean, I've never been sexually active. I'm still a virgin till this day, and I plan to be until I'm married, whenever that God's gonna bless me with a husband who's not nuts. But anyway, I was put on that poison that made me spot, but I still did not have regular periods. So it was so much easier for me to be even more detached from females and what that must be like, and to have more of the male experience. I didn't have to worry about laying in bed or taking care of myself. I could work whenever I wanted to work. I could do whatever I wanted to do. Everything revolved around my mind. It did not revolve around my body, which in my opinion is the difference between males and females in a lot of ways. A man's life revolves around his mind. A woman's life revolves around her body. There are times where my mind really wants to do stuff that I used to be able to do back before I had regular periods, and I just can't do it, bro. I don't care what you say to me. I don't care what I say to myself. It doesn't matter what anyone does. It doesn't matter how much pressure is put on me. I cannot do it. Okay? Especially back when I first was becoming a Christian, because when I first became a Christian, my periods became regular immediately, which is more proof of Jesus Christ. I went from going like a year, I could go a year without a period, to now I'm having one every single month. And it was a whole new reality that I am still getting used to, because I'm still a pretty new Christian. It's only been 3 years now. And when I first became a Christian and my periods first started out, they were so incredibly painful that I could not handle life in general. I just couldn't do anything. I won't even get into how painful it was, but a lot of people have already heard me talk about it before, how my legs would go numb, I couldn't walk, all that stuff, It was crazy, and now I'm at a point where my periods are almost pleasant, because God has been healing me over time. So when Jesus Christ first took this all away from me, I was having the full female experience, not just mentally now, but physically for the first time in my life. It was a whole new reality. And now, for the first time in my life, I was 100% attracted to men. I wasn't even a little attracted to women. It was incredible. I don't really know how to explain it other than instead of seeing women as a sexual object or whatever I saw them as, now I just saw them as my sisters. And now I just saw men as, how you doing? Hey yo! Hootie hoo! Hootie hoo! What's going on, fellas? Hey yo! When I say hey, you say ho. Hey, ho, hey. Sorry, anyway. And I tell you what, the first 3 to 6 months were so powerful, so sensitive for me because I was, again, feeling 100% woman and feeling 100% attracted to men. And it's biblical because the Bible says that when these demons are cast out of you, they go to a dry place for a while. And I believe that amount of time is about a year. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 6 months to a year that I did not have any intrusive thoughts or feelings. And I was just, it was fantastic. It was like the honeymoon phase of being a Christian. And every man was so attractive to me. It didn't matter if he was 2 feet tall, 10 feet tall, 100 pounds, 1,000 pounds, pale as can be, dark as can be, 20 years old. Well, I wasn't really into people younger than me, but, 25 years old or 65 years old. I mean, I was like, come on, boys, come on, but I was like, I'm a Christian now. I gotta be a good girl. It was hard. It was really hard. And there were times where I couldn't even look at a man in the face. A brother would be trying to tell me something important. I could look at him, especially at night if I'm trying to watch a YouTube video and my defenses are down. I couldn't watch a video of a guy just talking. I couldn't even look at his face. It drove me insane. I was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Oh, men are just so beautifully made. Let me tell you, man. I know that there are so many men listening to this channel who don't think they got it going on. But let me tell you, fellas, you got it going on. You got it going on. Just shaking my fist in the air. I gotta take off my hat. Hold on. Ooh, gotta fan myself. Calm down now, lady. Calm down. Okay. Fellas, every man is beautifully made. I don't care who you are handsome. You got it going on. You should be confident. Don't put yourself down. You look great. I don't care who you are, okay? Sheesh. But anywho, I was feeling it so strongly. And this was also when I had quit masturbation. I quit masturbating, I think it was January or February 2021. So everything was raw and real. and I was nearly to the point of needing to be put to a straitjacket, needing to be in a padded room, It's just like, oh my gosh, these guys are so sexy, but I can't do anything about it, and I'm not supposed to think about it. I gotta just close my eyes and just be made of stone. I gotta turn myself into stone, But it gradually got better over time. But just like it says in the Bible, after they are in that dry place, those demons, they want to return back to their home, back to your temple. Okay? And our bodies, which I discussed in my Randonautica documentary, I think I said it pretty well, actually, we're like empty houses. The Bible says our bodies are temples. So if you are a human being, you're going to be possessed by something. The only thing you have a choice in is who you're going to be possessed by. Are you going to be possessed by the Holy Spirit, or will you be possessed by darkness, demons? That's your only choice. A lot of people think that there is some neutral path out there, some way that they can not be on Jesus' side, but they can still not be on Satan's side. There's no way. You will be inhabited by demons 100% guaranteed, whether you feel it or you believe it or not. So after around a year, then the intrusive thoughts returned. But what was fantastic is I could feel the difference, okay? It no longer felt like my identity. When you are demonically possessed, it feels like it's who you are, Okay, someone could put a gun to your head and you'd be like, yes, I am transgender, I am gay, I am bisexual, this is who I am. You can shoot me on that, But then after those demons are expelled and they return, then instead of it feeling like your identity, it feels like an intrusive thought. And the best example I can come up with to explain that is if you are in traffic. Let's say you're sitting in traffic, you're running late for work, and you're really angry. And you get the intrusive thought that you just want to kill everybody on the road so that you have a pathway to get to work on time. You just want to strangle everybody or explode, whatever. You have these wild imaginations. Now, do you start identifying as a serial killer just because you had those thoughts? No. You know and recognize that's just an intrusive thought. That's just silly. That's not really how I feel, right? Just because you think about killing someone, you don't identify as a serial killer. Just like you have a quick thought about something homosexual, you don't start identifying as gay. It was the same thing. So I would get like a quick intrusive thought, I'd cast it out, it would go away, and I'd be all right. I'd be like, oh, this isn't who I am, it's just stupid thoughts. And it was so clear that these were demons. And there were even times where I think God allowed me to hear these demons' real voices, because demons are copiers. They are familiar spirits. When you think your grandma dies and she's talking to you from beyond the grave and she's telling you stuff only she would know, and she's telling you in her own voice, grandma's voice, that's actually a demon just impersonating, okay? That's why a lot of these celebrities like Jim Carrey and the like, they can impersonate so well because they got these demons working through them, making them sound like anyone they want to sound like, okay? And there were times where I would get a voice saying, like, I'm bisexual, I'm transgender, pop into my head. And it would be like a creepy voice. It wouldn't even sound like the voice in my head, it wouldn't sound like my voice. And there were times where instead of saying, I'm transgender, it would say, she's transgender, or something like that. And it's like, something is talking to me, but it's not me, and this is freaking me out, And there's one time in my dream, actually, where, when the spiritual warfare was crazy, I think this was within the first year of me being a Christian, and, I was trying to close all of these spiritual doors and trying to let Christ into my life and live a biblical life, and the devil was heavily trying to tempt me and torment me any way he could, but I was clearly protected by Christ. And, I was dealing with a lot of doubt and having trouble being bold and believing certain things, and, it was a big shift in my life. And God allowed me to hear demons talking about me while I was sleeping. They were speaking over my body while I was asleep, and I could hear it. And I remember they were whispering, like, it was like they didn't want to wake up my spirit or something. And they were like whispering over me, and they were like, we can't let her know that she's targeted. We can't let her know that she's a target or that she's targeted. And I was like, whoa, I've never been able to forget that, So, it was a crazy time. And yes, it was instantly taken away from me. I was instantly attracted to men, instantly no longer attracted to women. And, about a year after that, I'd get the occasional intrusive thought or intrusive feeling, and I'd immediately cast that out. You don't want to ever recognize these as being your own thoughts and feelings. You don't want to do that, because then you're coming into agreement with it and you're saying, yes, this is me. This is how I feel. This is how I think. It's not you. Any thought or feeling you're getting that is not of God, you need to immediately cast out. You need to immediately stand against. Even if it really seems like the kind of thing that would come from you, it's not you, man. It's not. These demons just know you incredibly well. They have had access to your mind since before you were born. Keep that in mind. These demons have been able to look at you and feel you and be basically a part of you in some way since before you were born. I'm sure the second your mom conceived you, Satan tried to assign some demons over to you. Maybe they gave you some bad dreams before you were born, for all you know. But either way, they have had the access to read your mind, your whole life. They can predict probably what you're going to say or think before you say it or think it, for the most part. But anyway, I no longer was demon possessed, no longer have had that as a struggle for me. And anytime Satan does give me a thought or feeling again, I stand against it, and I know that's not how I am. And I'm sure these demon-possessed people who love to stalk me and hunt me down, they'll probably say, no, you're getting those thoughts and feelings because that's who you really are. And it's like, but it's clearly not. Again, it's just like having a violent thought. Should I start identifying as a serial killer? Should I start actually going out and murdering people just because I got a quick thought of wanting to punch someone in the face or strangle somebody that upset me? No. You should stand against those thoughts and move on with your life because that's not who you are. I find men incredibly attractive, and I thank God for that. I'm very girly. I love to be girly. I love getting dressed up. I love looking like the princess that I am because my father is the king, if you didn't know, the king of kings. And he really moved me and convicted me to change my fashion because as an ex-transgender, my walk with Jesus Christ is quite unique. And, I'm not trying to put judgment on any other sisters or anyone out there, but I'm just saying I felt convicted to stop wearing pants, at least like past the mailbox. I'll wear pants to go check the mail or to go take out the trash. But other than that, I wear a ball gown. I dress like a princess, I'm telling you. I try to look like I'm gonna go have tea with the Queen of England, okay? Because I'm representing Jesus Christ, and I'm supposed to stand out. I'm supposed to be set apart from this world. Chicks seem to be wearing pants, yoga pants, booty shorts, and crop tops everywhere. So the more modest and crazy they get, the more modest and classy I get. Hello. So I try to wear like the nicest dresses. I get compliments all the time when I go out. Men stare at me. Men seem to be captivated by the way I carry myself now. When before I was basically invisible. No one really looked at me. It seems that even though men may not say anything, probably because they're going to be judged so harshly, men can't say certain things about women, but I think that men really do appreciate a woman who's well put together, who takes her time trying to look nice. And, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be wearing 10 pounds of makeup. You want to be moderate about it all. Maybe just having your nails at least trimmed a little bit, or paint your nails, put on some lip gloss, or, brush your hair, put a dress on, whatever, I used to wear heavy makeup the few times I would try to get girly back when I was transgender. I would cover myself in glitter. I would put on tranny makeup. It was crazy. It was really thick. I would do all of the contouring and, just spending 3 hours. I'm not even kidding. I'd spend 3 hours on my face and I wouldn't look any better. Nowadays, I can get my makeup done in like 2 minutes. All I do is put on concealer. I don't even put on primer or foundation. I put eyeliner on for the first time in probably like 2 years, and that was yesterday or the day before. I don't usually do eyeliner or mascara. I don't fill in my brows or anything. I just do concealer and lip balm. That's it. I try to keep a nice natural look. I always have my hair looking nice, and I put on the nicest dresses I can. And I really feel that God has opened my eyes to a whole new world, a whole different reality that I didn't know existed. And now I'm starting to understand the feminine side of thinking that is just as powerful as the masculine side of thinking. It's like God took pieces of himself and separated it between men and women. Women aren't any less important, and men aren't any less important. Women aren't any less intelligent, and men are not any less intelligent just because of their sex. We all have so much that we can bring to the table if we just come together. And I really do I'm so thankful that I used to be transgender, that I used to have all of these struggles, because it's opened my eyes so much. I can see the beauty and the brilliance in the male way of thinking, and I can see the beauty and brilliance in the female way of thinking. So I just hope and pray that something I said today will touch you or move you in some way. And I hope that you will be more patient with the opposite sex and not view them as lesser than in any kind of way. And I really do hope that you will be loving towards the LGBTQ community, that you will have as much faith in their change as you would in anyone else. God can change anyone. And I think the worse off you are, the more eager God is to show off his power and show off how he can really change you. So don't put God in a box. Don't think he can't do it. And don't stop yourself from preaching to these people. My advice is to never, ever, ever use dishonest pronouns. If someone is born a man, you call them a male, a he, a him. If someone is born female, you call her a she. It doesn't matter how they feel. It doesn't matter how they identify. It doesn't matter what kind of guilt trip they want to put you through to make you feel bad for doing that or make you feel like you should change your speech. A lot of Christians think that being loving is bowing down to the enemy, and it's not. You should never compromise the truth for anyone or anything, ever. Let them know that Jesus Christ loved them so much that he volunteered to be tortured to death for their sins. And he would do it again. Even if they were the only person on earth, that's how much he loves them, just to have a chance that they might choose him someday. He loves them more than any human ever could. But he loves them too much to leave them where they're at. He wants the best for them. He wants their life to improve. And what they're going through is a demonic illusion, a demonically induced illusion. That's all that it is. They are demonically possessed. They need Jesus Christ. And if they believe in Jesus Christ enough, and they follow Jesus Christ, they're not going to have anything to worry about. They will notice a dramatic change. Maybe some people might be a little more gradual than others. Some people might be, immediate like it was for me. But regardless, God can change you. God wants to change you. He is right there. You've just got to let him in. So preach to these people. Tell them Jesus Christ can change them. The world, Satan, wants them to believe that they were born this way and that they're going to die this way. They probably were not born that way. Most of them had these demons introduced to them after birth. But the ones who were born that way through a generational curse, they do not have to die that way in the name of Jesus Christ. And I am stating that today. No one has to die that way. No one has to die deformed, sick, diseased, hurt, twisted, anything. You do not have to die imperfect. You may be born imperfect. You may have sinned in your past, but you do not have to die a sinner. You do not have to die imperfect. You do not have to die diseased. You do not have to die mentally ill or demonically possessed. You have the choice to do better. You have the choice to be better and feel better and think better. You can do incredible things if you let Jesus Christ into your life. And anyone who disagrees with what I've said needs to get their brains checked, needs to get right with Jesus Christ. Because all of the crazy sounding statements I've made, I have backed up biblically in multiple videos, so if you have any problem, please go check out my channels. I'm a part of 6 channels total. I don't know what channel I'm going to post this on, probably Prideless Chicks. Anyway, I love you. Please subscribe. Bye.
חנני אלוהים כחסדך כרוב רחמך מחפשי כבשי אני אדע וחטאתי נגדי תמיד אם רוח נשברה אני מתחנן כבשני מעווני
את כוחי להיכנע. אז אם לא